Hey, great Thursday morning. It is amazing morning in the city of Brownsville, Texas, and let me say, I have no idea what we're going to do today for 20 nights. It's the last unless the dentist sends me a message as the in a little bit. Have absolutely no clue, and this thing is going to sound off. I'm sure. Ah, it's crazy because I've been here at the office since like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still struggling to put everything together. Ah, Fox News, I hate you. There- I hate that on Windows it sends me these little notifications on the bottom of the screen, and if you don't listen to them, you can't do anything else until you either like turn them off, shut them off, or close them out. And I might faint in the next couple of minutes. And if that happens, guys, just continue with the show until I.
You didn't have your coffee or what?
No, I had the doctor prescribed this Ozempic thing, and it's a self-injecting little pen. And for some reason, pues you put it on your panza and you click on it, and it's supposed to like go in there and give you a dose. And I was supposed to do 2.5 milligrams or something.
And
And
you
you did
overdid it.
25.
Ah,
And how many did you do?
well, I did 2.5 milligrams, pero como que de repente no sentí nada. Dije yo, wait a minute, I didn't feel anything. Maybe because I have a lot of fat in between. And dije yo, and so I went again, and I went again, and I go like, I still didn't feel anything. But then I saw like a little drop coming up from the needle. I go like, oh crap, I just did it twice.
Genius.
Oh my God. Don't say that. Well, at least you're saying it right. They won't say that something else happened to you.
Así estaba borracho
You know,
y se quedó borracho en medio del show.
hey,
No, cállate, no salgo de los blogs.
you know the way it is here in hometown.
Bendigo Brownsville Herald.
No, hombre. Esos ponen lo que quieren o lo que no quieren, no ponen, you know.
Hey, Kate, how you been, Kate?
I've been great. I've been super, super busy. But I'm happy to be here today. I told you I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, which was good. You know,
You look amazing. You look amazing.
thank you.
You've always looked amazing, but this morning, no, te pasaste.
Fíjate, let me tell you, I'm on the 5th floor, buddy. I'm on that 5th floor already. I don't say the age, but I do go by floors. So
Moving on up.
moving on up. That's right.
That's the only way to do it.
That's right.
Let's go let's go into the nitty gritty. Mayor of the city of Brownsville a couple of days ago put us up a post in regards to, hey guys, you're getting 18%. We're voted. We're going to get you 18% a decrease in regards to the rates out there. We took 30, but we're going to go down 18. What's your take on the decrease, Shate?
I really don't think that they look at the whole scenario when they want to give certain percentages. In actuality, I think that these past 2 years, people have seen how, you know, how expensive things have become, how the salary is not meeting to the increase of,
Services?
8%. Yeah, the 8%. Supposedly, what we've gone up 6 to 8% throughout, the U.S. of the cost of everything, and then but the salaries are not meeting up to, where the, what the what we're having to spend on. The cost of living is just outrageous. And I sincerely think that, and this is my belief because I work in the real estate business, and I'm going to tell you why I know that they're not meeting the level of what it should be. When somebody goes and applies for a home to purchase a mortgage, right? This is an example I'm going to use, and that's why I say it's not good enough. So the debt to income ratio and the salary, usually people are into debt. Yes, of course, because they're struggling because their salaries are not what they should be. So whatever the our leaders are trying to get, decrease or increase, I still think that it's not, good enough as to what we're having to go through. Everything's gone up, everything, gas, groceries. I went to HEB the other day. What I used to pay for 140, it was like 200 and some. I was like, oh, what happened?
Crazy.
It's just, yes, it's like things have really increased, and for that amount or that percentage, it's still
well, I'm very proud, and again, we've mentioned this on the show a couple of times, and thank you, Frank, God bless you, Baba. That it's a first baby small step, perhaps it's not enough, but it's a positive in regards to going to the first step. But what I read from the post was, they're finally admitting that our rates have been increased, and again, it's not 30%, Mayor, 36%. Our rates have been increased by 36% in the past 9 years, 36%, and we all know that it was because of this Tenasca thing, which is great. We've got out that Tenasca thing. Where's the rest of the money? Because every single time someone is running for city commission, and you've been there, you were there, Kathy, every single time, and you were there that day actually when Commissioner Tetreault admitted that they had $130 million that they had collected from Tenasca. You were there on that show where she said it openly and publicly. We still have it. And let me say, so where is that money? Because every single individual from there on up, Kathy, has promised that there's going to affect an audit. Where's the damn audit? Everyone runs on it.
I don't think there really has been an audit, and I don't think there's going to be one, because first of all, you need the people that are going to be tenacious enough, that are going to have the guts, regardless of what toes they step in, on. But you have to ask, they appoint all these friends or people to the PUB board, right?
Right.
That's a problem. I don't want to appoint somebody that's going to keep their mouth shut. I want to appoint somebody that's going to go in there, that's going to ask the hard questions. Hello, good morning.
Overturn the damn tables.
Yes. I mean, you're not going to correct the problem until you go in there and you try to dissect the issue that we're having. PUB say, you call PUB and they say, oh no, we're the least expensive. We give you the best rates. People are struggling to pay their utility bill, regardless of how, they had that big Taj Mahal building, that, I mean, it's a huge building, huge.
65 million.
I've gone to other cities and their utility companies are not where they Taj Mahal building. It's not. It's just a simple
office
building, That Tenasca thing, I think it's been over 7-10 years already, or
years.
It's been a while already, and I don't see what we've gotten out of it. I don't see anything good out of it. But at the end of the day, good morning, Ms. Sanchez. At the end of the day, they deserve to give us the answers. As citizens, we deserve to good morning, Mr. Lerma. We deserve to be responded to. And I think that that's a question that has been lingering for a long time. What are we getting out of Tenasca?
Well, and let me say, I agree 100% with your opening statement in regards to it. Part of the problem and my concern is what happens to all those individuals who couldn't afford the 36% increase in these past 9 years, that have not been able to, that have not been able to keep up with the cost of living, as Cindy mentions, have not been able to, to make ends meet. A lot of these individuals, Sam and Kathy, they had their electricity turned off by the city of Brownsville, by PUB in the past 9 years because they could not pay their bill. Cut off. How many individuals out there have had to decide whether to, pay for medication or to pay the utility bills to keep their children warm in the winter or during the freeze, or to, make sure that the refrigerator stays on so food doesn't spoil. And you know what? And a lot of these individuals, these clica out there, the mayor, Trex Mendex, the commissioners, the Los Santos, and all these commissioners, they don't have those issues. They don't have those issues because they're the orange ticket holders. They don't struggle to pay the 36% increase because again, they have the means. And let me say, with con toda, I'm very, very fortunate, very, very fortunate that I can pay the 36% increase. And I think all of us here are, well, except Sam. Sam no puede. But all of us here are fortunate that we're able to pay those 36. But I don't want to think only in myself, in my situation. I'm concerned about the individuals that cannot pay the increase of 36%, Sam. That's my concern. No, Sam?
Yeah. Yeah, because not everybody is in the same boat, and I think they weren't looking out for like the better of the whole community. But and again, as I have said before, like they don't usually give you like the straight answer. They're always like beating around it with the answers. But they do need to make like some sort of audit. I know it's not going to be anytime soon, like Kathy says, but hopefully it does happen. It needs to happen. Someone needs to like step in.
It's not going to happen. And this is what Kathy was saying. It's not going to happen because we have absolutely no leadership in the city of Brownsville. We have no one that has, we'll say the word balls out there. No tienen. They don't.
They lack fortitude. And you know what? And it's unfortunate, and sorry to interrupt.
Go.
But the bottom line is a lot of people, because we are outspoken, because we stand up for what we believe it's right as a whole, I'm blessed and I'm blessed, and I know that so I can be a blessing to others. But, I hear my own family members, oh my God, the PUB is, I got the PUB bill, this month is 200 and some, 300 and some. And it's, and sometimes people are retired, and retirees 10, 15 years ago, they can't afford with their retirement what the cost of living is nowadays. And for them not to put people on those committees that are gonna ask the hard questions, it's wrong. It's a shame, because what they tend to do is put people that will sit there. Good morning, Ms. Lolita. To put people that are just gonna sit there and just go with the flow and say, okay, that's fine.
And it's not something like you can say like, well, they raised the rates. Let me look for a different company. It's not like people in Brownsville can do that.
No,
because there's only one option, which is the PUB.
That's their only choice. But you go to the rural areas, and even at that, I'm going to tell you, PUB has expanded so much in all the new developments that some people, and I'm going to tell you that outsiders, this is what an outsider tells me when I'm out there helping people find properties here, and they're from other states. Why is it so monopolized here? Why does Brownsville have so much monopoly?
Because people don't speak up and they don't take action, I guess.
But then we're the ones to go out there and speak. He or she's a troublemaker.
Negative. Kathy's negative.
Negative post.
Huh?
Pure negative post.
Yeah.
Kathy's negative. Kathy's just negative.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, as much as I can, I'm going to tell you a perfect example. I go to a restaurant and I get good service. I commend the people. And I even let the manager know what a great, service I had today. But if it's bad, I'm going to speak my mind, because that's the only way that management or that team that's attending the people is going to correct the problem, because then they start losing business. So at the end of the day is, how are we going to question things, and when are we going to get the answers that are needed so we can go ahead and prosper together as a whole in our community? That's why Brownsville is the way it is. They want just yes ma'am, yes sir type of leaders, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. If I want a leader that's tenacious enough to stand up, to ask the questions, and make sure that we get the respect that we deserve.
100%. And let me say, if you cannot take the heat, don't get in the kitchen. Stay in your little comfy little corner of the house, but don't go into the kitchen if you can't take the heat. If you're not willing to go out there and answer the questions, then don't run for office. Because one of the things that I think that has been lost in the process is that individuals have lost the sense of public service. It's not Trex Mendick service. It's not Lima service. It's not Roy de los Santos service. It's public service. And when you're talking about the public, you're talking about Brownsville as a whole. and they are not serving Brownsville as a whole. They are serving themselves, their compadres, and their buddies. And then they try to use the system against you in any which way that they can. And I think Kathy has experienced this, has experienced this. I have experienced this because Kathy and I share a very unique perspective in regards to what happens behind closed doors. And when you start to feel the brunt force of a $550 million budget and then an unlimited budget by the state of Texas coming at you and against you. And that is what sucks because they paint and portray us as troublemakers. And Kathy's experienced this because she's been on the front page of the Brownsville Herald. I've been on the front page of the Brownsville Herald. But the individuals who truly hurt the city of Brownsville, who are really out there lining their pockets with the money that should go to the people of Brownsville, those individuals spend little, if any, time on the front page of the Herald. Because
like you had said, man, they serve themselves. When that rolling blackouts they had last year with the winter, like you knew not everybody had rolling blackouts.
No,
not everybody had their lights turned off. So they have control over what happens.
Kathy needs to run for BISD. Kathy needs to run for office. That is for a fact.
I really would love to serve my community again. I really, really would. And but you see, when you, and I want the community to understand this. It's not easy. But for those of us who have the love and passion to help others, and for those of us that understand what truly is happening and has been happening in our community, I think I am tired. I know that I step up to the plate to represent the people. And I don't mean just a certain group. I represent everybody. And I am a very fair person. I got to hear a lot of grievances, and I would put myself in the situation of the people that were grieving. I would look and think out of the box as to what was best. How could we help this employee? What could we do as a system, or what have we done wrong? Because as leaders, we're supposed to implement policy and procedures that will either affect or will benefit us in a positive way to keep us from getting into trouble, or actually protecting the students, the employees, and the invested interest of the citizens, which is taxpayers' dollars. But you get a group of people that have personal agendas, and they do. Correct me if I'm wrong, Erasmo.
No,
but
100%.
They go in there, and let me tell you, some of these people, they have people pumping in money behind the scenes. So when they get in there, they're going to go and make the decisions based on what the partner or the buddy that gave them all the money and all the support to make the decisions of the contracts that are coming up. It is true.
It's very, very true. And it's a very, very unfortunate because, again, I'm going to go to the old spiel, the spiel that I always share out there. The problem is they're so stupid. They're so stupid because look, at the end of the day, if you're going to be a rata, go ahead and be a rata, man. Take your little sliver of the pie, and more power to you. But let the community, share and use the rest of the pie in order for the community to grow. Because if the community starts to grow, then your little slice que te estás jambando becomes bigger. The problem is they want to start jambando and then have to distribute to all their compadres, and the city never grows. They're not giving an opportunity for growth. The community is not given an opportunity to embellish themselves with everything that is out there. So we continue to stay stagnant. That is why every other city in the valley, every other city, I'm including El Rancho de los Fresnos, El Rancho de Harlingen, El Rancho de Huesto, every other city in the valley is prospering and growing, and we're still stagnant.
That I had a client say that he needed the city he went to building and permits 3 months. 3 months hold up for his business to open up. 3 months that man is not creating jobs, not making money that he's already invested into the property. It's there, it's sitting there because We don't have it together in the city. And let me tell you, people, I am one that will refuse to be a negative person, but I am one that believes in asking the questions and challenging the issues, because if I am done wrong, I want to know why you did wrong to me. And I want to know how we're going to correct the problem, because if you're doing damage to me as a citizen, the rest of the citizens that don't speak up, you're also hurting them. And I am that voice for those people that are afraid to be labeled because they work for BISD or because they work for the city or whatever the case may be. I speak up not only for myself, but for those that are afraid to speak up. I am their front. I am their face. I am their voice. That's what I believe in. But I really don't like to be a negative person. Trust me, I don't. You age being negative.
Yeah.
And stress brings you down because you're negative. I love to be happy. I love to be positive. We do right. We do good to each other. That's it. Let's keep it moving.
Well, Kathy's on point. And Kathy, one of the things that I've said out here, I want to come on here every day and say, hey, guys, guess what? More jobs were created downtown. Hey, guess what, guys? Another business coming down to Brownsville. Hey, guess what, guys? They're fixing all the damn shit. I want to come out here and say great stuff. Everything because it's a lot less stressful than having to go like, my goodness gracious, did you see what they're doing out there with the mess? It's a lot better. But, we don't have that opportunity. You don't give us the opportunity. And then the mayor, wants to joke about it and say, like,
talk about.
Yes, give us something to talk about. Something. You give us nothing.
But didn't they change the person from building permits from the city? Didn't they change them because something came up with that person?
Some time back, but then you change one compadre for another compadre, you still get crap. Yeah. I mean, Don Alex, Kathy, going to your point, Don Alex was opening a wine bar here downtown. I mean, Don Alex had to go. Don Alec was the name of the bar. He had rented the place for a year and a half, fixed it up, never got a permit, never. I mean, rented the place. And this is just not one individual. Several individuals get sidetracked because si no hay el moche or you don't have the compadres in there, you're not going to get into downtown. And this is what's unfortunate about downtown, because everyone out there that's opening a business in downtown is part of that little clique that gets all those benefits, all those perks, all that money coming from BCIC, all that money. And I don't blame Josh out there. I like Josh Mejia, but the guy is pressured every which way to continue to siphon the money down to compadres out there, Trex Mendez and his buddies. I can't stand it.
And I think that if we were to have better, I guess, a team of leaders that would say enough is enough, and that we all have the same vision, the direction that we really want to take this community.
Like, is there a master plan for downtown, like the Envision master plan, like from 10 years from now? Or are they just going day by day?
No, see, there needs to be a master plan. And they always say, well, the master plan. What master plan? Your master plan is to give the middies everything, to give your compadres everything, but the city of Brownsville doesn't benefit. And I'm going to give you one clear example. Again, and I've stated this before. Kathy, you tell me if I'm wrong. The zoo again was one of our hot items here in the city. I voy rápido. No, que spend 2 minutos. I got a client walking, but and zoo, y'all can take this over. The zoo was a gem of the city of Brownsville. It was the top 10 zoos in the country. All of a sudden, the zoo's gone to crap. I mean, everyone's dying out there. All the animals are not the people. The animals, not zoo takers. I think they're okay. All the animals are out there dying. They don't have a place to grow. We lost the elephants because we don't have a place to put them in. But then you got the chicken ranch out there on that linear park, Kathy, Sam. The chicken house, Stillman Chicken House. It costs us $100,000 to put that piece of crap there. The middies get anything and everything they want and they increase the cultural district. Why can't that be for the zoo? Why couldn't it have been for the zoo? Where's the vision in order to grow. Gati?
You know that you're right because my son and my daughter-in-law took my granddaughter and they said, Mom, there's hardly any animals. They're all, you know, they're gone. It's not the zoo that it used to be. So you have, you know, the generation of parents that are wanting to take their children to a zoo because they remember when they were little, this was, you know, this is what I remember the zoo, what the way it looked like. And it's true. We have, you know, people say, oh, Brownsville has so much history. Brownsville has this. And Brownsville has been given a lot by a lot of people who believed in the community and that wanted for the city of Brownsville to have these things. It's like our Sam stadiums. You know, the Sam's family donated the stadium, and it was our job. It was the district's responsibility to take care of it always. And there was a point there that the stadium started to deteriorate. And the family was down visiting. And believe it or not, they questioned why wasn't the stadium being maintained? They were in shock. These people were not from here. They were up in New York. They were up out of state in the East Coast. And they were very disappointed. But again, we go back to what priorities do your leaders have? Right now, if you look at our streets, they're horrible.
Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
driven across several streets and they're pretty bad. And that's what I was mentioning. Like, is there a master plan to where that area is heading, or even the city? Where is the city heading? Like, is there like something that they have like envisioned to
and
where
well,
they
they're
could
supposed
take
to have one. They're supposed,
several like mini steps towards that goal? Because I know that they had even mentioned that weren't they gonna make the coming school, like they're trying to like make it into the part of the zoo or part of the district, culture district or something like that, or
well,
they're not gonna do anything with that area.
I know that there was several things that they were wanting to do with Cummings Middle School. And they were wanting to bring in Cummings Middle School to be part of the zoo and to make it like a whole
A veterinarian program and
for so it could feed off of and help the zoo. But you
Yeah,
see, a lot of people they talk about doing things, but then you have to get other people involved. And if they don't like it, the idea, well, they'll stop it. You know, and it's like, for instance, if I'm a leader, you know, it doesn't have to be my idea. You know, if it's your idea, great.
it's
Let's run
normally
with
like
it.
it's
Let's
like
do
a
it.
round table and everybody just throws idea and then you just have like a great idea out of the whole group.
But it
but
doesn't get done.
Yes.
it doesn't come into fruition. And
Yeah.
again, you know, part of the thing I think what happens, Kathy, and again, y'all could uh, not agree. I think a lot of what happened is that we get all these little promises right before election time, or towards the end of the term of these individuals, and we get these promises like we've had Titan tires, we've had the steel mill, and we've got this going on, and then all of a sudden nothing happens. Nothing happens because the elections are over, and then nobody moves on anything. But we are promised so much, and we are given so very, very little, and the little that does come then goes into the pockets of the politicos.
They
And to
paint
the
you a
political.
pretty picture.
Yeah. So it's like, right now they're going like, oh, well, we're finally getting this gas line down at the port. Well, guess what? Elections are this year.
Well, going back to like the whole master plan, Kathy, have you heard anything about that toll road over there by
Oh,
Morrison?
good question.
Since you're like in the real estate business,
Yes, well,
not to put you on the spot or anything, but
we've heard about it, but we've heard about a lot of things that will benefit the community, and it's just sometimes, like Erasmo said, I think they bring it up to life. I'm going to tell you when there's an election. In other words, it's talked about and it's being presented to the current leaders, but then all of a sudden, okay, you know what? Let's not bring it to life until when this thing we can bid it out at this time, because everything is about how much is it going to cost.
yeah,
Who are the entities that need to get involved? You see, when let's say, like when we built veterans, right? When we built veterans, Old Military Highway was a two-way road, very narrow. For 3,000 people to have to drive through on a daily basis. And then plus all the 18-wheelers, the heavy traffic that comes through there. Can you imagine? No, okay. When I questioned about why we couldn't get the state to help, which the state came in, and that's when they expanded that road. And I was on the MPO. But let me tell you what somebody told me in the state of from the state highway department. They say, if you guys were to get it together, you guys would get a lot of the money as well for your roads. But you guys can't get it together. Hidalgo seems to have it together.
They eat
and
our
they're
land.
always going after the money. You guys need to move quicker. And guess what?
They're just fighting with each other. And
That, if we were to be a strong community, that the district, let's say I'm going to build a school and I go to the county and say, you know what, it's out there in your 100 acres that belongs to the county and rural area. And then we get the city, because you got to tell the city if there's roads going through, and then goes into county, right? If it becomes a state highway or farm road. Okay, so we all need to unite and meet and say, hey, are you going to be able to help me? Because we got to connect with state rep or state senator. And right now there's elections for state reps, state senators. Make sure that you guys, it's important to go out and vote for the people that are going to do the work, that are there to roll up their sleeves and take the challenge. Please, people, because every position matters. When your local people need something from the state, they need to be able to get along and be able to understand the needs of the community, that they represent.
They don't.
There's a lot of
and let me say, I'm going to say that they don't, and I'll give you a clear example. Kathy, we've been screaming about these bus stops and the bus benches, and we're slowly starting to get them, which great, and again, I went out there and said, great job. But, and this is my spiel, Kathy, they demolished the bus stop there in front of the Brownsville coffee shop, demolished it, destroyed it, and there was no access there for 2 months. 2 months. And my issue with the city, and I reclamé la ciudad, I said, guys, do you not know that this is one of the most used bus stops in the city of Brownsville? One of the most used. And by that, I mean more individuals probably land on that bus stop than any other bus stop, except for the one over there by Pace High School. Why? Because it is the bus stop that my students use that go to Porter that are coming in from the bridge. They use that bus stop. So who in their right mind would demolish a bus stop in the middle of a school year, Kati? In the middle of a school year, when you got students that use it. Now they have to go out there and stop at least 2 blocks down at the next one over there by Lopez Supermarket. Lopez Supermarket stinks. Huele, apesta. 2 blocks down. And the issue is they have no concept or clue what goes on here at this level, Kati. And you have to know your people, Kati. You have to know your people here at this level, the ones that are going to be most affected by those stupid decisions that you make, because you up there in your glass palace, you don't associate with La Raza Cabajo. You have no concept or clue that that's one of the most used bus stops. And I use that as an analogy, Kati, of what happens throughout all governmental offices.
Yeah, it's true. They without even thinking. And this is another example. I'm going to tell you that I had when I was on the board. Again, I'm a realtor. There's a website that if there's a family that's purchasing a house, and you know how sex offenders are registered, right? So I tell my clients, look into this. You have children, check and see what's your closest, who's the closest sex offender, right? So when I get elected, I say, okay, so when our bus stops are stopping to drop off children, does anybody check from our system? Does anybody go a step further to make sure that our children are not being dropped off right there where there's a sex offender in the corner? Or how close is the nearest sex offender? For the safety of the children, right? Because we are there for the children, right? Well, let me tell you.
The board members have child molesters as their assistants.
Let me tell you, no, and I told him, and it was one of those. I said, can we just check? Because if that's where the stop is, can we change the bus driver to go to another stop, another location further out. Well, I checked, and out of the stops, there was like about 16 stops where the child was right there where the sex offenders were registered. So it's our job, it's our duty as leaders to think out of the box, go a little further, start thinking, where we can make a difference, what can we change to make sure that our children are safe, that our teachers are okay, that they have the support that's needed. And right now, somebody that said, Lolita, I think, says run for BISD. I would love to, and I know that my calling is to be a leader again in the community. And I'm going to tell you, the district, I feel right now, is not what we.
No, it's a piece of crap. It's a piece of crap.
That's exactly so sad.
It's
the leadership.
No leadership. But you know what, Kathy? We have probably the most ignorant board I've ever seen. The most ignorant board I've ever seen. They are so stupid. So, out of touch with anything that happens. And it's because I think amongst all those guys there, I don't think they share 2 brain cells. I don't think that they do.
With the BSD, they would need at least like 3 people to make things happen. Because if it's just one, which is just like yourself,
you said it. And that's part of the problem. Kati and I don't mean to speak for Kati. Kati and I have experienced being the minority on that board when you're the only ones that are out there trying to do what's right. The only ones. While you have a corrupt political machine in the majority that will use anything and everything to squash, trample, and shut down anyone. And Gatti and I experienced the same situation with, well, not the same situation, but in regards to the brunt force of it, of the Baltasar Salazar, who had the apoyo, the support of the majority of the individuals on that board, because they were paying him, he was paying them money. And again, this is what happens when board members, when city commissioners, when individuals on the Port of Brownsville, when the individuals at UT are at the Texas Southmost College, when they're out there lining their the money that should go to the people of the city of Brownsville, then they don't care. They become despots.
They're all pulling their own like each way. Like instead of everybody going towards one goal or towards one direction, everybody just going in all different directions. Yeah. Which that's why it stays stagnant. It just
if you had individuals out there who were public servant centered, things would be different. But they are self-centered, and then everything goes to crap because everyone's pulling to whichever way it's going to put an extra dollar in their pocket. And that's what's very unfortunate. You need individuals on there that, hey, look, Gati's a successful realtor here in the city of Brownsville. You need individuals. And, as much as people may say, I do okay. You need individuals on there that are not muertos de hambre.
Speaking of that, for a dollar. Like, have people, like, let's say with the whole permanent department, and let's say they're asking for, like, under the table deals and whatnot, and people when people report it, like, do things go on deaf ears or something? Like,
todos se tapan con la misma cobija.
So wouldn't it better to be with like an external group or something? Like, I don't know.
What we need, but even the external auditors, they never come to be. Why haven't we had an external audit for PUB? Why haven't we had an external audit for the district, especially after Sylvia Atkinson pocketed with Prissy Roca-Tipton and Drew Brown and La Perra de Minerva Peña? Why did an audit? Why hasn't an audit been effected after federal funds were pocketed by these four? Sylvia, La Minerva, La Pingüina Peña, La Asquerosa, Prissy Roca-Tipton, y la racist Drew Brown. Why wasn't an audit effected? An independent audit. I mean, anyone in business with common sense will say, you know what? Let's effect an audit. Let's make sure that let's be transparent, because one of Prissy Roca-Tipton's favorite words is transparency. Okay, let's be transparent. Let's do it. Have an independent auditor come in and check and see exactly how much money Sylvia, Drew Brown, Prissy Roca-Tipton, and La Perra de la Minerva Peña. Let's see how much money they actually pocketed. but they're never going to do it because there is no transparency, because everyone wants to cover to quieren tapar con la misma cobija. It's just a fact. Am I wrong, Kathy?
No, and the problem is that we have an internal audit, right? That an internal audit that has to do audits throughout the BISD. Okay. And then they go through the policy and procedures that they need to see what happened, what went wrong, right? And then they give the opportunity to the administrator to respond, right? Okay. But when you're a board member, you need to put your foot down and say enough. Okay, so we have another 100 laptops missing. What happened? Do people understand their policy and procedures, that this is the way it works, or this is what we need to have returned back? Do the auditors go and make sure, that the audits are done the way they should? And it's a big district. And I know that their plan, like they'll say, okay, from January through February, we're going to do all the elementaries. And then they get the results, and then they give us what's missing, funds, if it's a certain fundraiser that they did, or whatever the case may be, right? But the internal auditors are there to make sure that they bring the information to the board, and that the board tells the administration, okay, what are you going to do about this? Because I'm going to hold you accountable for all these assets that are gone, because this is taxpayers' dollars. What are you going to do, Mr. Superintendent or Miss Area Assistant Superintendent, right? You're giving them the opportunity to become the leaders that we need to be able to know what accountability is. Because our job as a board, we hold the superintendent accountable.
Should.
And exactly. But if your level of expectation is down here, well, of course, they're not going to do what they're supposed to do. They're just going to go collect the check, and that's it. But if their level of expectation is this high, and yours is this high, then guess what? Things are going to start changing, because the superintendent and the administrators are going to say, you know what? They're going to hold us accountable.
Well, let me say this, that again, I agree with Nelda and Kathy. All levels of government need an independent audit, 100%, especially when you've had a breakdown in the system, as Kathy mentioned, in regards to not following policy and procedures. And we experienced that at the district. Can anyone out there doubt that there has been a major issue after Sylvia Atkinson was indicted and sentenced and found guilty of stealing, of bribery?
They're willing to pay but there's thousands of dollars for horrible images.
Yeah, Sam, there's no doubt. Now, if you really want to go out there and say, look, guys, we're going to prove to you that everything is now tip-top shape now, then you do an independent audit, say yeah, aquí está. Another one, Texas Southmost College Board. The Texas Southmost College Board. We already know that Adela Garza is a rata. Everyone knows. I don't care if people are out there supporting her. A damn rata. We know, because she was associated with Sylvia Atkinson. We've already heard about Sunshine Solutions. We've already heard about her trying to go to the district. There's pictures that were taken by the FBI. Pictures of her going into BISD. There's recordings from the FBI. So why hasn't Texas Southmost College effected an audit on anything and everything that she's touched, in order to say, look, guys, we are doing as another favorite word for Priscilla Tipton, our due diligence. Here's our due diligence. We are proving to the community, because we want to be transparent, that Adela Garza in no way, shape, or form has mismanaged, mishandled anything in regards to taxpayer dollars going to Texas Southmost College. We have had nothing. And this is why we need a Katy Presas. This is why we need an Erasmo Castro. This is why we need a Sam. We need individuals that are willing to speak up, speak out. No tienen pelos en la lengua. And say, this is what's wrong. This is what needs to be done. But we need more of these people to speak up.
And the problem is, let me tell you, because the board, your commissions, they have an attorney that are going to Hi there, Mr. Snoopy, San Antonio. But they have an attorney, right? And the attorney's going to give them advice. They're there. The attorney's there to give them advice. But if the attorney plays the game with the ones that are going to give him the contract, right? Regardless if the attorney is knowledgeable about what the issues are and the challenges are, you know, like Baltasar Salazar was hired on the job training. He had no idea of what school law was. Nothing. He was I believe, criminal attorney or civil attorney. And when he came about, he competed with 17 other law firms. He scored a 57. Everybody else scored 90, 100 points, 80, 90. And the board hired mediocrity. Me as a leader, I don't want mediocrity. I want the best of the best. If we're going to pump in money, it better be the best for my citizens. And it better be the best for everybody. If not, don't give me garbage.
Mary,
and that's what we've done here in this community. It's always, let's do it. But like you say,
mediocre.
A master plan. Yeah, mediocre. You have a master plan. Okay, the city of Brownsville, right now we're in 2022. By the year 2028, this is where we want to go. All this money that's coming in, this is where we're going to pump it in. This is what the plan is. Okay, we have investors that have a lot of money. Let's bring them in, but let's make sure that the leaders now and the ones in the future are going to understand that they're going to work with these investors because they're going to help us in our community. Sometimes I don't like to compare our Brownsville with McAllen and Edinburgh, but you know what? It's depressing.
It is depressing.
You head out there, the roads, the highways, the business, it's moving.
The fact that it's just an hour away and it's so different.
Yes.
So different.
Yes.
Day and night.
A big difference.
Day and night.
A big difference. And let me tell you, I sell properties from here to Hidalgo to Bexar County, and it's depressing.
It is depressing.
I feel like what's the character from that drives the blanket in Snoopy with Snoopy. What is it? Is it
Linus?
I feel like Linus when when I come back into my hometown. And let me tell you, Brownsville could be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city.
We have all the resources.
And we have air, we have port, we have point of entry,
bridge,
we have rail, we have everything. What more would anybody want? And guys,
it's like what I was saying at Erasmo. Everybody's just putting like different directions.
Yeah,
Mayor, one single direction.
Mayor Trey Man says you're a liar. De La Garza is Trey Rence's godmother, and she's incapable of such a vile things you spew. FBI disagrees. The FBI's got the recordings that the FBI has. They disagree with Trey Mendez, and the pictures and the video. They disagree with Trey Mendez, or it was strategic. They purposely hired someone who was not knowledgeable to be able to get away with. Yes, 100%, because they played ball, and that is the problem. We have individuals here in the city of Brownsville throughout every single form of governmental entity here that play ball, and it is time to stop. It is time to elect individuals who are going to be fearless, who are going to have cajones, who are not going to go out there and, sidestep the city of Brownsville or its citizens. Someone who is in tune with the necessities of our city. Guys, it is 10 minutes till 10. I got to go. Kathy, thank you for coming on. Any last words?
I wish everybody a great weekend coming up. Stay safe. Smile. Stay positive. There's always a brighter day. Just work hard at whatever you want, and it'll come to you.
Yeah, and get pissed off. Get pissed off enough to be that voice. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Sam. Guys, we'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. tonight. Have a great day. Social distance, face covering, hand sanitizer, to believe in all that crap. Guys, be good to each other, and please continue.
God bless.
God bless.
Bye.